Hello, and welcome back to the Swinburne Debate Challenge instructional series of video. Today, we'll be expanding on the topic of speech. And this is video 1, planning a speech. Now, the first step in planning a speech is 1, to define your purpose. Planning your speech will give you more room for creativity and innovation. You will have time to consider what your audience need to listen to and how you will deliver it. When starting to plan our speech, it's important to be clear about the purpose. If we don't know where we're going, we'll probably end up somewhere else. For example, if you are joining the debate challenge by Swinburne University, which of course you are, the obvious purpose is to persuade your audience to support your take on the motion. Keep this in mind before deciding on how to achieve this. Now, step 2 is to analyze your audience. You should focus on your audience to achieve your objectives. That's the goal of a debate, because you are addressing the audience and your opponents. This is a cardinal rule when planning a speech. So imagine yourself sitting in the front row as an audience member. What do you want out of the debate? In the case of the debate challenge by Swinburne, your audience are the adjudicators, experts in charge of evaluating your speech based on well-defined criteria of style, content, and strategy, and also your competitors. Therefore, it is certain that you plan your speech as closely to these criteria as possible, as well as making your points very loud and clear. Now, for the third point of actually writing out your speech, we should start by defining the key message and the main claim. Message. That's not it. In no more than a sentence, what's the one thing you want your audience to remember after you've spoken? You can't just have mumbo jumbo that doesn't go anywhere. In your speech at the debate challenge, your team's case regarding the motion should be the thing that pops up immediately upon listening. One specific example is the motion at the World School Debate Championship of 2002. This house would compromise civil liberties in the interest of security. If you were to be the proposition, your mission is to deliver the message that civil liberties should be reduced when this would benefit security. On the other hand, if you are the opposition, you have to prove why it is wrong to neglect civil freedom for the sake of security. In order to achieve either goal, it is crucial that you know how to build your argument, which leads us to the next part. Building an argument. An argument is a reason or rationale as to why your main claim is right. A claim would be typically supported by 3 arguments, each argument backed up by various supporting evidence, material that explains or establishes the validity of your claims. The most commonly used forms of evidence are facts and figures, statistical evidence, stories and description, definitions, history, examples of typical cases to illustrate a point, references to authority in quotations or informed opinions, visual aids, graphs, charts and table, and demonstration, which can be summed up roughly into the following: pathos, ethos, and logos. For example, for the notion of the house requires certificates of work for high school students to graduate, the proposition can argue that the work experience, even if only dish cleaning or floor scrubbing or trash picking, is crucial for the maturity of high school students. They then should support their argument by defining the concept of maturity and, if possible, give out facts and figures to back up these claims. On the contrary, the opposition can claim that part-time jobs causes too many distractions. You go washing here, you go cleaning there, you lose time on study, affecting their academic performance. Statistical evidence to this case should be provided. For instance, according to the Swiss Bureau of Labor Statistics, research shows non-working students have an average GPA of 3.04, but students who work over 20 hours a week has a much lower grade point average, 2.95 on average. As the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom also said, if you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever to obfuscate your point. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once, then come back and hit it again, then hit it a third time. A tremendous whack. Remember to back up your arguments with a tremendous whack of evidence. Now that you have all your material, it's time to build up that building and structure your speech. A commonly used structure has 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Every good debate starts with a strong opening line. The introduction is where you hold the audience's attention, state your main claim, and preview the main argument. And as we said, it should be short and sweet. In the body, which takes up most of the speech, you present your argument and evidence, that tremendous whack we mentioned earlier, remembering to make explicit transitions between the arguments by giving clear signals such as, firstly, blah blah blah, second, blah blah blah, and last but not least, blah blah blah. Now, in the conclusion, it is very important to review the main ideas for the audience to retain your message. Try not to repeat them word for word, but instead rephrase your topic sentence and summarize the material. And if you have the time, include an important statistic or two that you included as evidence. If you are the last speaker in a team debate, you need to make sure that you also sum up your team member's best argument in your conclusion too. Some ways to reinforce the audience's interest are issuing a challenge, visualizing the effects of your solution, or offering the audience an immediate opportunity to act, establishing a connection. If you think about this, the proclamation of independence of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam was a piece of debate art. Ho Chi Minh started his speech with the utmost respect to the audience with the line, "Can you hear me clearly?" and then presented the undeniable arguments in the body and ended with a note of finality. For these reasons, we, the member of the Provisional Government of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, solemnly declares to the world that Vietnam has the right to be a free and independent country, and in fact, it is so already. And thus, the entire Vietnamese people are determined to mobilize all their physical and mental strength to sacrifice their life and property in order to safeguard their independence and liberty. On this note, debate speeches should follow the same structure with an emphasis on clarity, simplicity, and well-built argumentation. We are not asking you to be the next Ho Chi Minh, but with these knowledge in mind, we are sure you can deliver a speech that's concise, powerful, and will be memorable to your audience. Thank you.